Hey everybody, this is me, Undead Viking. I'm here to talk to you about this game. It is called Conspiracy. Conspiracy is a card game for 2 to 4 players that kind of builds off of some age-old mechanisms that you probably played in some old ladder scoring games that you probably played in your youth. It has a really great theme of like conspiracies, X-Files, what man was not meant to know type of thing going on that I really dig, because I dig those types of ideas and I like talking about conspiracies and what have you. Basically, the premise is that each player is a conspiracy theorist that happens to believe in one or more crazy theories, like UFOs have landed or reptiles are running the world, that type of thing. And while you're trying to prove your theory, you're trying to discredit everybody else's, so you can kind of prove which conspiracies are real and which ones are just the wackadoos that believe in, if you will. So let me show you how to play the game. It shouldn't take very long at all. And then we'll come back here and I'll talk to you more about conspiracy and why I dig it. All right, awesome. Alright, this is Conspiracy, and I've set up a 2-player game. You can play with up to 4 players, but I just set up with 2 just for simplicity's sake. To begin the game, you take this giant deck of cards, you shuffle them up, you deal each player 10 cards, and this is called the Unknown, or the Draw deck. And here, this is called the Tabloids. Take the top card, you turn it over, you place it there. Now, the object of Conspiracy is like a lot of other card games. You're trying to basically get rid of all the cards in your hand. By doing so, you then cause the end of the round to happen, and depending upon the cards that you're able to place in front of you, you can score points. And this is one of those games where I'm sure you've played with like ladder scoring, where the first person to get 100 or more points will cause the end of the game, and whoever has the most points at that point will win the game. So of the cards, what you're going to have is you're going to have all these different cards that are going to be about these different cool conspiracies, like Role Playing as Devil Worship, or Area 51, Reptilian Overlord. And these are all conspiracy cards, so you can see it says Conspiracy on the other side. Cold Fusion, it's a conspiracy. But on some of the cards, like these gray ones, these will be action cards. And not all action cards will be gray, but a lot of them are. And some of them, right here, I'll show that to you in a second. Basically, when you see this little lightning bolt, that means it's an action card. And then the number on it, obviously, is the points for that particular card. Now, action cards just kind of let you do something, like draw 3 cards from the Unknown, which is the draw deck, keep 1 and return the other 2 in any order to the top of the Unknown. So it's just, it's one of those things that basically lets you break the rules. Now, on your turn, what you can do is you can either start a conspiracy, which is taking 3 cards of a certain type of a conspiracy and place those in front of you. Or you can strengthen an existing conspiracy, but you still place those cards in front of you. Keep that in mind. Now, that might not make a lot of sense, but the first thing you have to do before you do anything is you have to draw a card. You can either draw a card from the Tabloid or from the Unknown. I'm just going to draw one like so. So we got the Philadelphia Experiment, one of my favorite conspiracies, actually. And so you look at the cards, and what you want to get is you want to get 3 of the same kind. Now, we have these 3 green ones. This is kind of fortuitous that I got this proof card. So the ones that say proof, these can be part of the beginning conspiracy. So you can put all 3 of these cards down. You notice also it's worth extra points. That's kind of nice. So what you're going to do is you're going to place these cards down and say, we're starting the conspiracy of the reptilian overlords. The idea that the reptile men live amongst us. Now, the cool thing is that this is the proof that this conspiracy is real. So you can play this only when a conspiracy for the reptilian overlords is in play, or to help reveal a new conspiracy of that type. Now, what that means is that if you have this card, and like say I had 3 of these cards, and this card was actually in my opponent's hand, if I put these 3 cards down, they could put this card down at that point to kind of strengthen that conspiracy, trying to make it true. But in this case, since I have those 3, I can place them down myself as part of that conspiracy. And also it says, once this conspiracy is revealed or strengthened, you may play 2 action cards per turn instead of 1. So that's kind of a neat thing too. Because when you have the proof out there in front of you, then you get that extra little power. So you place those in front of you like so, to show that you started that conspiracy. Now, being that this is the first turn, I really can't do anything else as far as strengthening somebody else's conspiracy, because of the fact that he hasn't played anything yet. But if he had, I could then, say he had 3 blue cards down or something like that, then I could play that to strengthen. Now, one of the things is that if you don't start your own conspiracy, you can choose to strengthen to others. And you can strengthen it by placing as many cards down as you want. So if, like, my opponent had started the fake moon landing, the moon, quote-unquote, landing, my brother actually believes he never went to the moon. Anyway. So, like, you have the moon landing, and you have, like, so if he had 3 orange cards, I could place 2 of these cards down and say I'm strengthening the moon landing conspiracy. When I do that, however, that doesn't count as both of them, like 1 and 2. Like, those are my 2 strengthens, because they're the same card. That would just be 1 for placing it. So if I had like 7 orange cards in my hand, which you can't have, but if I had 7 orange cards in my hand, I'd use them all to strengthen. That'd still just be 1 strengthening. So, and then the other thing is that, as mentioned by this, you can only play 1 action card, unless, of course, you have this power, because you have that card in front of you. And if you play a proof card as part of your conspiracy, that is normally your 1 action, so you wouldn't get to play another action card. But because of the fact that I've played this out, if I wanted to, I could play this action card if I want, but I probably want to hold on to that right now. So the last thing I have to do is I have to discard a card and place it down. Now, this is one of the weird things, is that when the round is over, the cards that are in the discard pile are going to matter a great deal. Basically, they're going to count against established conspiracies because of the fact that these are the tabloids. These are the ones that are saying Bat Boy lives in a cave and things like that, so that people walk by in the supermarket and snicker when they see. So it's going to actually discredit your conspiracy that you've proven. So you want to make sure you're discarding conspiracies that other people have proven and that you're not going to help out with. So one of those things where you're going to look at these and you're going to say, well, I don't have a lot of Area 51 cards. I don't have a lot of these role-playing death worship cards. Devil worship. Role-playing is devil worship cards. So I'm going to play this, and so I'm going to go ahead and discard that one down, like so. And that would finish my turn, and so then I would wait for the other person to take their turn. So let me just see what we got over here. So this player then will look at their cards, and they'll see, no, okay, well, cool. So they have these 3 that will show that the role-playing is devil worship. And so they can play that as their opening conspiracy. So they can place those 3 down. They don't have a proof card in there yet. I should have drawn a card, sorry. So they'd have this card in their hand as well. They're cloning Hitler. So, but now, I don't have a green card, unfortunately, so I can't strengthen that conspiracy. But remember, maybe I don't want to strengthen it. Maybe I want to hold that card and put it down into the tabloids, because that would discredit that card. Because then I could take those points away at the end of the round. But going through this, I can't play any of these other things. So let's see. I have a leaked file. Can be used to strengthen or an existing conspiracy already revealed, or help reveal a new conspiracy. Well, that one actually is pretty good. So what you can do then is you can strengthen your own, and so you could go ahead and play it like so, and like put that on top of your devil worship one, and then you strengthen that. And so now you not only have you it's kind of neat that I've made a conspiracy, I've strengthened it, and also taken my 1 action because of the fact that that is an action card. And just you can see, like, here's the Men in Black action. You may discard 1, 2, or 3 cards from your hand and replace them with an equal number drawn, which might be helpful, but in this case we're not going to worry about that. I want to hold on to this one because of the fact it's the proof for the waving flag. And we've already seen a chemtrails get discarded, so just remember that we're not going to want to start the chemtrails conspiracy and place that down like so. And I'm just going to show you one more time. So then this player will draw a card like so. Oh, proof of the cold fusion lab explosion. That's kind of cool. We have the other one. So now we have, I don't know, I can't start a conspiracy because I don't have enough, but what I can do is I'm going to strengthen the role-playing, is devil worship by putting that down. And then maybe I'm going to just play my action, which is remote viewing. And I'm going to play that. I'm going to look at the top 3, see what I get here. So I get conspiracy. That's pretty good. So, because I know that I will draw next, what I'm going to do then is I'm going to put these cards down like this, like so. So I know that I will get that action card if they draw off the top. And I'm going to use this, and I'm going to strengthen that as well. So now, like, we've really proven that role playing is devil worship, because obviously it is, because I've role played since I was like 6, and I worship Satan every day. So, all right, so there you go. That's how the game kind of goes. It ebbs and flows. Obviously, with 4 players, it's going to go around like so. The round will end one of 2 ways. Either you run out of cards in the conspiracy deck, or one person manages to get rid of all of the cards in their hand. And now at that point, what happens is that everybody's going to look in front of them, and they're going to look and see the cards that they have in front of them that prove their conspiracy. So normally there'll be a lot more cards in front of it, but I'm just kind of speeding up so I can show you what happens. The person that either was forced to draw when there were no cards in that deck, or the person who gets rid of all their cards, will then take all the cards from the tabloids deck, and they will go through each one. And each one that has an actual conspiracy on them, they'll say the chemtrails conspiracy. And everybody that has a chemtrails conspiracy will take that card, and they will, remove whoever has the most of the chemtrails conspiracy cards in front of them has to take one of their cards in front of them and get rid of it, and then they go to the next one. And that can actually change, because like if somebody, like in this case, if we had plenty of the role playing as Satan worship, like if we got one, and then we have to remove one of the cards, and so they probably remove one of these with 2, and then we got another one with 2, and then now you get down to what there's 2 each. If they had to remove another one, then both of the people that are tied have to remove one at that time. So it can actually switch, depending upon how many of those cards are in the discard pile. Now there's one wrinkle to this, is that if you have 10 or more points after all is said and done, if you have 10 or more points in a conspiracy, it's just like so. Let's say there was that in the reptilian idea. Those are going to count double, because you've proven it. You have actually proven that reptilian overlords are controlling the world. In which case, then you get double points for the proven conspiracy. But then what you're going to do is you're going to take all the points that you have in front of you, and then total that up, and then you minus whatever points you have left in your hand. So whatever cards you have in your hand, you're going to deduct that from that, and that's your total score. And then you're going to take a piece of paper probably and write down your score, unless somehow somebody managed to score 100 points in the first round, which I don't think they're going to do. I don't think that's possible. Now there is one wrinkle, and I got to actually show you the card. Mayan Conspiracy. Alright, okay, cool. So the Mayan Apocalypse. So here's the wrinkle with the Mayan Apocalypse. So it says there, and basically at the end of the round, if you have 12 or more points of the Mayan Apocalypse in front of you, after you've gone through the whole process of using the tabloids to discredit the process, if you still have 12 or more, and you are the person that went out, that is a very important distinction. You have to be the one that went out. But if you're that person, you've proven that the galactic, conflagration actually occurred and the world ended in 2012. And by doing so, you're the only person that gets to score points in that particular round, and everybody else scores 0. And that's kind of cool if you're able to pull that off. It's difficult, but it definitely is very satisfying. You feel it's kind of like shooting the moon or something like that. But it's this version for this game of Conspiracy. So there you go. You basically play until one person has scored 100 more points, and then you just declare the winner. And it usually takes maybe. It usually takes about 3 rounds before somebody pulls it off, but I've had it go a little longer and I have it go shorter as well. So I've had a lot of fun playing this. This is definitely a game that I just throw into one of my little deck boxes and take it to work, and we've had a lot of fun with. But let me tell you more about it in my conclusion, which I will do right now. When I was younger, I believed in all kinds of conspiracies. I believed that the government had found UFOs and had aliens working with them. I believed that Loch Ness Monster was real, and Bigfoot and Abominable Snowman and all those crazy cryptozoological creatures. And as I grow older, you kind of lose that innocence, and you kind of realize that, But as I said, like my brother, he fervently believes that we never landed on the moon. I had a friend of mine's grandfather, when he ever would give me a chance to listen to him, which was often, he'd regale me with how he knew that Lyndon B. Johnson had JFK killed, You know, so I mean, it's conspiracy theories are some things that people love to believe in. I think we love to believe in something bigger than ourselves going on, and that's fine. And if you believe in them, that's great. One of my favorite questions to ask anybody that I meet or that I like interview on my weekly show or whatever is, what, if any, conspiracies do you believe in? I love asking that question because I love to hear what people buy into, and I don't mean it as like a negative thing. I think believing in something bigger and something that that's things behind, working in the shadows. I have no problem with buying into that or believing it. I think it's neat, and a lot of times I still wish I believed in like UFOs and those things because it's kind of like that lost section of my innocence of my youth, if you will. So, that being said, I really enjoy games that are based upon those beliefs and based upon those ideas. I dig that connection to the X-Files world, if you will, the world of paranoid people. Just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they aren't out to get you. I love that saying. But that being said, the theme is awesome. I really dig the theme. I love the whole idea of Hitler's brain and reptile men and what have you. But if the game itself wasn't any fun, then it'd be like, okay, that's a cool theme, but the game, But this game is actually fun. I love the decisions that I'm presented with in every single turn. Which cards, which conspiracies do I want to build onto? Which ones do I want to hitch my wagon to? Which ones do I want to discredit? Having cognizant awareness of what other people are up to, what they're trying to do as far as what cards they may or may not have in their hand. Because of the fact that holding on to a conspiracy and in seeing what other people are doing is it's one of those things where it's like you maybe don't want to actually show what you're up to until when you strike when the iron's hot, when maybe nobody can do anything to really stop you at that point. Because remember, discrediting people and getting those cards into the tabloid discard is almost as important as trying to be the person to go out and get rid of your cards. And if you can manage to pull off the Mayan conspiracy thing, that is so awesome. I've done that a couple times in these games, and it's just like, it feels like, it's like shooting the moon or whatever in Hearts. It's like if you can pull it off, and even though people kind of realize it, they kind of see what you're doing and they realize what you're up to, if you can manage to pull it off without them being able to stop you, it's a very satisfying feeling, obviously, and I've won games that way. And because of that competitiveness, because of the fact that this is a game that I can teach in about 5 minutes, and admittedly there's some cards other things that have to okay, this is what this card does, or what have you. It may take one playthrough for people to understand it. This is one of those games that once you get done playing it, everybody's like, okay, let's play it again. I know what's going on. I know what my strategy is. And then now you can actually sit down and actually enjoy the game. And I like games like that. And this is also one of those games that kind of bridges the gap because of the fact that it plays like classic card game mechanisms. The whole draw a card, discard one, making suits, basically. I've played this with my parents, and they've enjoyed it. And especially my father, who kind of gets into this kook kind of stuff, if you will. So there you go. That was Conspiracy. If you have any questions about it, by all means, ask away. I'll be happy to answer those to the best of my ability. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to watch this video. And until next time, this was me, the Undead Viking, and I'm telling you to have yourself one heck of an awesome day. All right, bye-bye.